Get ready, Bitcoin pumps to $104,000 and altcoins like Ethereum and XRP are on the move. And we have a huge acquisition, the largest in the crypto industry, as Coinbase completes its acquisition of Deribit. And the SEC has put it in writing with the Ripple XRP settlement becoming official. And Meta and Facebook are about to enter the stablecoin game. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I'm sure many of you saw your portfolios started moving again from the tariff crash bottom because Bitcoin today pumped from below $100,000 all the way to $104,000. At the time of recording, it had a slight pullback, so it's sitting just below $103,000. But we're starting to see life here. It's what I've been talking to you guys about over the past few months. Looking at the data, we are still in a bull market, not our feelings, not our emotions. A lot of people are screaming, bear market, it's over, blah, 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 right? But they don't share data. They don't share charts. All they do is share a sentiment. But we don't operate by our feelings and emotions. We look at the data and what the charts are telling us. And we see Ethereum is back over 2,000. Right now, it's at $2,198, XRP at $2.31. So green across the board, very good sign. If we look at the Bitcoin daily chart, we have further confirmation and strength. We are still in a bull market because Bitcoin is comfortably above the 200-day moving average. This is a signal I've been sharing with you guys. If we are below that 200-day moving average and we're headed in a downtrend, that's when we're entering into a bear market. Right now, we are above it again, and we're showing strength and moving up to higher highs. So this is really great. On the weekly chart, we are seeing even more bullish confirmation. The weekly RSI is breaking out and the MACD is about to flip to green, giving the bulls the full momentum. So the bears have been losing momentum clearly. And you look at the weekly chart, look at the green candles that are aligning here. So the higher time frame is even showing you a confirmation of the bull market continuing. And if we look at the patterns on the chart, this is things we saw last summer. I've been saying this, right? That last summer was even more brutal because it was extended and you had the Japanese yen carry trade situation, and Bitcoin stayed under the 200-day moving average longer than it did now. Obviously, the tariff situation was much more scarier, if you want to put it that way, for the masses and people who were selling off. And we had, the stock market crash significantly and much more. But as far as boring and timeline, this was not as bad as last summer, in my opinion. But the same patterns are playing out here, guys, and we're seeing it on the chart. So simple pattern recognition will show you we are still in a bull market. And another key metric that I've been sharing with you guys is global liquidity. Global liquidity continues to rise, and we know assets are correlated to global liquidity, even though there's a lag. So Bitcoin is catching up here. So is the stock market. And of course, altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin's lead. It's the same story over and over. Just look at the data and it will show you what's going on. And in my newsletter today, if you haven't checked that out, be sure to sign up. Link will be in the description. I highlighted what Bitcoin whales are doing and much more. And I believe the local top for this move, this phase of the bull market, will run to maybe for Bitcoin 120 to 121,000. It could go higher, but we'll have to wait and see. This is why you want to have a cash out plan. I have my cash out plan for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and other altcoins. We have to wait to see if the blow off top will happen now, or this will just be a local top and then continue. Maybe we have a big correction this summer and then come Q3, we pick up steam again and we have a blow off top in Q4. It could play out like that. This seems to be moving a bit like 2017, where you have these strong moves, deep corrections, but there's still room to grow. But we don't have a crystal ball. None of this is a certainty or guarantee, but we're forming our thesis based on the data and what the charts are showing us. And we're looking at the probabilities. Which scenario has the higher probability of playing out? So I'm looking at a local top of about 120 to 121K. It could happen by June. Because of the tariff crash, I think the timeline is shifted a bit. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think we see a local top this month, but we'll have to watch it closely. So that's what I'm thinking, guys. And then I think ETH and XRP and Solana and all these coins are going to run behind Bitcoin. The liquidity will rotate down from Bitcoin, of course. Now, folks, yesterday I told you about New Hampshire becoming the first state to sign a Bitcoin reserve bill into law. Well, today Arizona becomes the second state to do this. We are seeing incredible adoption here from the state level, and game theory will play out here. We're going to see other states follow suit. No one usually wants to be the first, but no one wants to be the last, right? And I interviewed a Dennis Porter of the Satoshi Action Fund, who's responsible for helping these states to establish these bills. So check out that interview I published earlier today. And it's exciting to see this happen. And this, I think, will culminate in getting Congress to pass a Bitcoin reserve bill on the federal level. I know Trump did an executive order, but what we need is Congress to put it into law, because another president can come remove something that's done via executive order. I don't think another president will do, but it is always the chance, right? So this is why we need a law in place that is executed by Congress, and then the president signs it. So incredible news here. Now, folks, the SEC and Ripple official, we have it in writing. We heard from the folks at Ripple weeks ago that they have wrapped up and settled with the SEC, but many folks were waiting for the confirmation from the SEC. We need to see it in writing from the SEC. Well, here it is. Today they put out information on it, saying the SEC announces settlement agreement to resolve civil enforcement action against Ripple and its executives. So the executives part we knew was, done. That's not really relevant, but the Ripple and XRP part is relevant. So the parties have agreed that Ripple will pay $50 million of the original $125 million penalty, with the rest being returned to them. Both sides will drop appeals if the court agrees to lift the injunction placed on Ripple. So Attorney John Deaton weighed in and said, it would be absolutely shocking for Judge Torres to not agree to lift the injunction under these circumstances. I don't want to jinx anything, but the agreement between the SEC and Ripple makes perfect sense, and it's difficult to see it not going through. So I think it's reasonable to say Judge Torres is going to lift the injunction. We are in a very different environment for crypto, and the SEC has capitulated clearly, right? And this thing is done. And I think it's just a matter of time for Judge Torres to do this. So a massive win. Many of the haters are crying. Many were saying, oh, I don't trust Ripple. We need to hear from the SEC. Well, here it is. And I think the runway is clear for XRP in this bull market. And it already started taking off, right? We saw XRP performing really well. Its chart looks very bullish, and I'm bullish on XRP, and I actually bought the dip on XRP when we had the tariff crash. So that was one of the assets I bought. I didn't put a ton of money into it, but I saw it as an opportunity, and that we were still in the bull market, and it was a great opportunity to dollar cost average in, and that's already paying off. So this is why you buy the blood in the streets, and you be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy, as we've talked about nonstop on this podcast. Folks, a great place you can buy XRP, Bitcoin, and other altcoins is Uphold. This is a platform I've been using since 2018. They have over 300 cryptocurrencies. They just added staking for 19 cryptocurrencies. And folks, they're easy to use, they're safe, they're reliable, and they don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. They are 100% reserve, and you can review their transparency report. They also have an amazing rewards program where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins. And this rewards program, if you participate in it, you get 24-hour early access to new tokens. So to participate, you have to open the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. And the stablecoins you can earn this yield on is Ripple's RLUSD. You can earn up to 5% there. And USDC, you can earn up to 5.25% there. So this is a really great program, and they do it the right way. No nonsense, no commingling, and no weird setups like we've seen in the past. This is being done the right way. I spoke to the CEO. I interviewed him about it. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. Now, folks, the largest crypto acquisition has been completed, and that is Coinbase's acquisition of Deribit. This is huge. It's $2.9 billion, and it's $700 million in cash, $11 million in shares of coin. And this makes it the largest M&A deal in the crypto industry. And Think about it. Would this be happening in a bear market? No. We're in a bull market, folks. Here's another signal showing you these type of activities. Companies looking to do IPO, right? Circle's looking to IPO, eToro and some others. We saw some Bitcoin companies like Fold and others have gone public. So they don't do that in a bear market. Again, we are in a bull market. And here's what Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, said about the news. He said, excited to acquire Deribit. This makes Coinbase the #1 crypto derivatives platform by open interest and options volume. Their strength in options complements our strength in spot and futures. Huge, huge acquisition, folks. This is massive, and Coinbase continues to make moves that is going to establish them as one of the biggest players in the world. Right now, Binance is still the world's largest crypto exchange, but Coinbase is making the moves to get them to maybe take that mantle, but we'll see, right? Look, I don't think one exchange can service the entire world. We're going to have multiple exchanges, and competition's healthy. So this is good that we are seeing the growth, and this is a publicly traded company. So, they're doing things by the book and making sure everything's in place. Now, moving ahead, this is big as well. So Fortune magazine is reporting that Meta is in talks to deploy stablecoins 3 years after giving up on the landmark crypto project. Now, 3 years ago, they were trying to launch Diem, which was a basket currency of stablecoins. And at that time, it was called Facebook Libra, that was the project. But remember, Maxine Waters and all of the members of Congress were up in arms trying to shut this down because they saw this as a threat because they didn't have a pulse on what was happening. They didn't have regulations in place. And Facebook had the ability to really disrupt the whole monetary system because of how big they are and how many countries they're in, and people are already connected on mobile phones. So they put up roadblocks and shut this thing down fast. But what was interesting, the people who are working on this, and I've interviewed some of them, they are the founders of Sui. And many of them went to work in different parts of the crypto industry as well. So Marty Party, he tweeted out some details about this, saying, this is why Sui got front run yesterday. Meta is in talks to deploy stablecoins 3 years after regulators forced them to stop the Libra project, now the Sui network. So fascinating. The group that was working on that, they left right after the project got stopped, obviously, and went and built Sui. It's just fascinating how that played out. So Sui could be in position here to potentially work with Meta in some way. We'll have to wait and see. And I remember asking Evan Cheng, who's the founder of Sui, when I interviewed him last year, is he knocking on the door at Facebook and asking Mark Zuckerberg if they want to use the Sui blockchain? So this is just fascinating what's happening, but it just shows how things have changed. And boy, Meta getting involved with stablecoins, this could be really big just because Facebook's network is so huge. It's not just Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Snapchat, and all the other platforms they have acquired. And it could be really powerful here. Let's see what they are about to do, what they will name their stablecoins. Will they have more than one stablecoin? I don't think that I see a need for more than one, but it's TBD, right? And I'm going to try to get the folks from Sui to come back on the pod to talk about this stuff because this is fascinating, guys. We got to keep an eye on this, but it just shows where we're headed. And I hope you understand what is taking place here. If you are still on the fence, please wake up and see what the hell is happening here. Don't miss the opportunity, and that's the investment opportunity. And don't get me wrong, if you're an entrepreneur, you can also go build, or you want to go work in the crypto industry. There's some great paying jobs and all these things. This is the next wave of the internet. That's why we call it Web3. So it's incredible. Moving ahead, Hester Perice today put out some more details about crypto legislation and what she's thinking and how the SEC may regulate crypto. She says, I'm thinking about a potential exemption from registration that would allow firms to use DLT, so distributed ledger technology, to issue, trade, and settle securities. A sketch of the idea is here. And she tweeted a full article. It's very long. You guys can obviously go read through it. But this coming Monday, the 12th, there is an SEC roundtable on tokenization. And I told you guys, like BlackRock, Fidelity, all the big names are going to be there. So This is just fascinating to see this amazing stuff here. Now, folks, today there was the vote on the Genius Act, which is a stablecoin bill, and this was being voted on in the Senate. Unfortunately, it failed to pass. It was voted down 48 to 49. And look, I spoke to Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association today, and he's like, look, this is how the sausage is made. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. We've been talking about some Democrats are not happy with Donald Trump's businesses. They also want to put some additional language into the bill. So we got to get through this back and forth phase, but I do think it's going to happen. I'm still optimistic. A lot of people are still optimistic, but it wasn't just Democrats. So that's important to note. The majority were Democrats, but two Republicans, Missouri's Josh Hawley and Kentucky's Rand Paul. I was actually surprised Rand Paul did this, joined the Democrats in voting no. So interesting. Let's see what they're able to come up with as they go back and forth. I've been assured by folks like Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association that the industry is weighing in. All these lobbying groups are weighing in and making sure they're doing the right thing, so nothing is snuck in. You got to watch out what they put in the fine print, guys, because you know how government works, and we don't want the wrong things to be in there. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, weighed in on this news, saying, "Good to see the Senate finally voting on stablecoin legislation. It's a first round to the negotiation, and I expect there will be another vote early next week after more debate. Frankly, the bill still needs some work, like fixing the prohibition on yield and interest, which makes no sense, but this is all part of the process. Once all members have had time to review the text and a few changes are made, I suspect the Genius Act will be one step closer to the president's desk with a strong bipartisan vote. The 52 million American voters who hold crypto are watching closely." Spot on. So, folks, this is how the sausage is made. It's ugly sometimes, right? I hate politics. We obviously have to cover it because crypto is involved. But if I could ignore politics entirely, I would. Obviously, we live in the world where we have to pay attention to some degree. We got to vote and all that. But, the process is nasty sometimes, if you get what I'm saying. But I think they're going to get there. This is not unique to crypto. They do this with every bill. I mean, it could be the government spending bill or whatever it is. They'll go back and forth and mudsling, and I wouldn't want to be a part of that process, but it is what it is. So I totally agree with Brian here. But we did make, a lot of progress this week, and he highlighted that. He said, great progress on U.S. crypto legislation this week and more to come. He said, one, market structure draft legislation introduced plus discussed. Bipartisan work continues to bring stablecoin legislation to the floor, likely voting again early next week. Stand with Crypto Day happening May 14th next week with 60 plus crypto founders coming to DC. Advocates will keep beating this drum. So great stuff here. Okay, moving ahead, folks. Securitize, the tokenization platform which helped BlackRock to launch their tokenized fund, and BlackRock invested in Securitize as well. I think about $47 million they had invested in Securitize. Well, Jump Crypto apparently here is investing in Securitize as well. So shout out to Carlos Domingo and the folks at Securitize. I have had Carlos on the platform, and they're doing great work. So, folks, tokenization is the future of finance, as Larry Fink said. So you're seeing a big surge by the Wall Street firms to tokenize all types of different assets. And Securitize is leading the charge there. They really position themselves, and obviously working with BlackRock. I mean, just huge vote of confidence. They've helped BlackRock to launch their tokenized fund BIDL. So great to see them getting more funding. And of course, the reason why they're getting the money, because this is going to be a big part of the infrastructure of the market. Setting up the tokenization infrastructure is going to be a big job, but there's going to be a lot of money to be made there. Folks, nature is healing. Former Celsius Network CEO Alex Mashinsky gets sentenced to 12 years in prison. So this guy's a scammer. If many of you may recall, he used to come on my show years ago, and he pretty much lied to me and everybody, right? Saying, oh, it's okay to deposit, and it's okay to do this, and yeah, everything's, and of course, it was not okay. It was a big scam that he was running, but good to see all of these things getting cleared up. SBF in jail. We got the Luna guy, Do Kwon. He's being held, and I don't know if he's been sentenced yet, but Mashinsky was definitely one of the big culprits, so he's getting sentenced. We are healing, and we're moving forward from all this craziness that happened in the last cycle. folks, I want to let you know about something very important that you have to be vigilant on. So let me give you the news first. $45 million stolen from Coinbase users in the past week. That is crazy. What's been going on? And I've been getting the texts and calls, scammers like texting me, it's all robo calls and robo texts, right? Oh, your Coinbase account has been hacked and this and that. But, I know where the majority of my funds are in hardware wallets. I have some on Coinbase, I do some swing trading and things like that. So I'm not worried because when I get those texts, I'm like, oh yeah, another scammer. And I'm literally getting them like multiple times a week. I block them and report them. But it's crazy. I'm not the only one. You should see the comments on X. People have been getting nonstop, texts and emails and calls, some scammers trying to steal your funds. So, folks, be careful. If you get a text that says, "Oh, this exchange account has been compromised. Someone has moved your funds," don't panic. Don't click or don't panic. Don't call. Just go on your secure device and log in. Check your email and all those things. Don't click on anything in the text. Don't call back anybody. Coinbase is not going to call you and things like that. So just be careful, guys. They're getting so aggressive, and clearly some of it is working. $45 million stolen. That is ridiculous. I'm going to try to get some folks from Coinbase to come on to maybe talk about this because this is crazy, man. And this goes back to like data leaks some years ago. I remember Ledger had a data leak and some of these other exchanges. This is why we need to put data on the blockchain so we don't have these leaks anymore. But the infrastructure has to be updated for us to get there. So just be careful, folks. Be careful. As this market heats up, the scammers are going to up their activity and they're going to try to steal your funds. Watch what you click. I get some emails sometimes and I from exchanges. Anytime I get an email from any exchange or wallet, whatever, I'm looking at it carefully to make sure it's not a phishing email, that it's from an official account. And sometimes I can't tell because they're so sophisticated. But what I do, I go log into the account directly or the app directly, so I don't click on anything that could compromise, my access. So just be careful, folks. It's really, really important that you be careful. It would really suck if this market is going parabolic and you lose your crypto. That's going to be a gut punch. It's going to hurt. So just be careful. Do the right thing. Slow down. Don't panic when you get any texts or any calls or any weird emails. Just be careful. Take it slow. That's what I've learned. Don't have an emotional reaction. Just go log in, make sure everything's okay. So, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that helps you to learn every aspect of the crypto market. Best of all, it features expert commentary. You will hear from founders, CEOs, and institutional investors. Features videos, full text write-ups, downloadable materials. It's packed with a lot of value, guys. So if you'd like to learn more, go to mycryptocourse.com. Thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.